Good morning, Saki. You're so reliable. How are you today? I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright. Could be a lot worse. I'm in a fairly good mood today. What is going on, Giovanni Morales? What's going on? I don't know. We're here together. We're hanging out. We're saying things that we have said before, for the sake of saying them once again. Shema Yisrael, Asher Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et Adonat Elohecha ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודייך והיו הדברים האלה אשר נוחים מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך וחיה כי ויחיו אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת וברות עצובים אשר לא עשת ועקרים וזיתים אשר לא נתת והלכת ושבת הישמר לך תשכח את יהוה אשר תישאך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill, take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Suppose that's what I think of that. Who knows? I'm a little ill. Repeat these words. Good morning, Duck. How are you? Good morning, Queen. It's really nice to see you. So, rice is ready. Yes, I will be eating rice again with you today. My daylight savings time, I'm surprised to say that daylight savings time has helped me because I'm waking up at the same time every day, but it's an hour earlier, which means I have an hour extra before my morning appointments that I get to exist and be a human. So I get to spend some extra time with you, and that's nice. So, how are you doing today, Queen? How are you? Repeat, repeat, repeat. I've repeated this ritual so many times. You've repeated it with me so many times. What does that mean? I wish I knew. You don't have daylight savings. Where are you? I guess I assumed you were in the U.S. Unless you're in Arizona? No, but you must be in Europe somewhere. So, we can continue today to read from the story of Inanna. You're in Australia. Should have known that. Well, good evening. I hope you find your way to bed soon. What, it's 10 o'clock at night? Good morning. Yes, go vote, everyone. Indeed. Thanks for that reminder, Kimmy. I am going to be voting at around 3 o'clock today. My final appointment ends at 3, maybe 3:30. I have how many Zoom meetings? I have 3 Zoom meetings after this. And I'm going to be right here for a long time. And then around 3 or 4 o'clock, I will hop in the car and drive into town and go vote because it's important. I live in a swing district, right? Like there's a mixture of folks. There's rich liberal folks from New York City, and then more conservative folks, farming folk who have lived here for many generations and don't like it when things change. I'm a gentrifier. I'm a rural gentrifier. Isn't that wild? Live on my commune with my queer poly family, and we grow vegetables and we sell them to rich people, and that's the world we live in. And yet I'll go vote for, slightly better politicians than the ones that are currently in power, and hope that it does something. It is. The margins are actually far thinner than designations of red or blue states would indicate, right? Like in Oklahoma, there's still probably 45% Democrats or something. Like, yes, it's reliably Republican in all ways, but the margins aren't more than 5%, right? So it's they're artificial divisions, right? They're completely artificial divisions, even the way the political platforms are built between red and blue, right? Like, why is it that those particular issues are concatenated together? If you were to flip-flop them, you could probably maintain the party integrity, right? Like, I could imagine the Democrats wanting lower taxes. It wouldn't affect their other policies, right? There's no ideological consistency. It's just memetics. It's just memetics. That doesn't mean you shouldn't vote for the memes that you like, but just do know that the vast majority of it is theater. Anyhow, I don't really want to talk about politics. I want to talk about ancient kingdoms, because I find that more emotionally fulfilling. Where we left off with Inanna, we left off at my favorite passage in the entire book, so I'm just going to read it again for the 3rd day in a row. Yes, vulva. Indeed. So, we'll repeat. My vulva, the horn, the boat of heaven, is full of eagerness like the young moon. My untilled lands lie fallow. As for me, Inanna, who will plough my vulva? Who will plough my high field? Who will plough my wet ground? As for me, the young woman, who will plough my vulva? Who will station my ox there? Who will plough my vulva? Dumuzi replied, Great lady, the king will plough your vulva. I, Dumuzi the king, will plough your vulva. Inanna, then plough my vulva, man of my heart, plough my vulva. It's just so good. There's this interesting thing that Dumuzi was originally introduced as a shepherd, but yet now he is the king, right? And these are they're metaphors, they're titles, right? There was no king of Mesopotamia ever named Dumuzi. There were probably shepherds named Dumuzi. Doesn't really matter, but there's you can think of them more as social positions, right? The king and the shepherd are related in their maleness. Get to plowing, people. That's what she's saying. Get to plowing me. I want to be plowed by Dumuzi's plow. All right. So, here we go. Some more metaphors. Baby love, hi. It's really nice to see you. I'm online earlier, right? Like you you're probably not available, as I've been streaming at like an hour or two later normally. It's really nice to be online earlier and to see you. Thank you for being here. Life has been crazy. What has been going on in your crazy life? I have some sexual metaphors for you. Are you ready? They go like this. At the king's lap stood the rising cedar. Plants grew high by their side. Grains grew high by their side. Gardens flourished luxuriantly. Inanna sang, "He has sprouted. He has burgeoned. His lettuce is planted by the water. He is the one my womb loves best. My well-stocked garden of the plain, my barley growing high in its furrow, my apple tree which bears fruit up to its crown, he is lettuce planted by the water. My honeyman sweetens me always, my lord the honeyman of the gods, he is the one my womb loves best. His hand is honey, his foot is honey, he sweetens me always, my eager impetuous caresser of the navel, my caresser of the soft thighs. He is the one my womb loves best, he is lettuce planted by the water." Dumuzi sang, "O lady, your breast is your field. Inanna, O lady, your breast is your field. Inanna, your breast is your field. Your broad field pours out plants. Your broad field pours out grain. Water flows on high for your servant. Bread flows on high for your servant. Pour it out for me, Inanna. I will drink all you offer." He plowed for his lettuce. I mean, so the imagery here is thick, right? And it runs on layers. So I don't know how many of you have grown lettuce in your gardens, but home gardeners will typically see a thing. Oh my god, my father is texting me. It's dreadful. Anyway, home gardeners will typically make the mistake of letting their lettuce grow for too long, and then the lettuce gets horny, right? And it bolts. So when the lettuce bolts, its stem gets really thick and tall, and flowers sort of emerge from the top, right? Mature sexual organs. Yes. The innuendo is a lot, right? So bolting lettuce is basically lettuce with a boner, in the same way that we have at the king's lap stood the rising cedar. But like the metaphors here, like it's more than just innuendo, right? They're making like some very explicit associations between the growth of plants, right? Like the story started and there was a little bit of tension between the farmer and the shepherd, right? We talked about thick cream, but we have all of these metaphors of food, right? Food and life and growth and sexual reproduction, right? And so the growth and reproduction of the plants is directly connected through imagery to heterosexual sex, which I think is pretty great. I think it's lovely. And I wish we had more myths that were this erotic, but I can continue to read you this one, because it's just so good. So, we'll read a little bit more. Inanna sang, "Make your milk sweet and thick, my bridegroom. My shepherd, I will drink your fresh milk. Wild bull, Dumuzi, make your milk sweet and thick, I will drink your fresh milk." And of course, wild bulls don't actually make milk, but there's something else sweet and thick that they do make that Inanna wants to drink. "Let the milk of the goat flow in my sheepfold. Fill my holy churn with holy cheese. Lord Dumuzi, I will drink your fresh milk. My husband, I will guard my sheepfold for you. I will watch over your house of life, the storehouse, the shining, quivering place with delight's sumer, the house which decides the fates of the land, the house which gives the breath of life to the people. I, the queen of the palace, will watch over your house." Dumuzi spoke. "My sister, I would go with you to my garden. Inanna, I would go with you to my garden. I would go with you to my orchard. I would go with you to my apple tree. There I would plant the sweet, honey-covered seed." And I think we'll pass there. There's much more, right? How many more pages do we have? There's like 5 or 6 more pages of plant-based and agriculture-based sexual metaphors. And I'm here for every single one of them. But they come on so thick that we should probably hold and wait for another day to say more prayers. So I will try to be here tomorrow. If I'm awake early enough, if I can stream at 8 a.m., then I will stream with you. And I may not be able to do that because I don't really control my my circadian rhythms. Have a good day, Kimmy. Really nice to see you. So if I'm not here tomorrow, then I will be here on Thursday, and we can say these words once more. And have a lovely day. So, we're getting to the best bit. Yeah, I mean, they haven't actually done the deed yet. They've just described all of the different things in the world that it is similar to. But eventually they will, they'll get up and they'll go to their beds, and then the story will end. And then Debussy will die, and Inanna will have to descend into the underworld to resurrect him, because the original resurrection was not done by the Holy Spirit. It was done by the sexy goddess. That's also worth knowing. So, we will shift now. We'll shift into Arati. So Arati means flame in Sanskrit. Flame or light. So here we have our little light. Little flame. I want this back on my head. Sometimes it falls down. Boop, boop. How do I do this? Okay. Queen accepts. Alright. So, Arati. Arati means flame, light in Sanskrit, and it's repetition of holy names. Can I tell you how to meditate properly without your mind wandering? If your mind is wandering, then you are meditating properly, right? Like, the mind wanders. That's what minds do. The task of meditation is not to prevent the mind from wandering, right? You're not exerting control on the mind. Rather, the task is to notice that the mind is wandering, right? If you can be meditating and you can watch your mind as it wanders, and rather than having your selfhood, right, that locus of attention, rather than having it be subsumed by the wandering, if you can notice, this is what wandering feels like, then you're getting somewhere. But of course, if you just wander and get lost in dreams, that's also fine, right? Like, there's nothing that says that we shouldn't be lost in dreams. It's one phenomena that the mind does, among many. So, in my mind, the practice of meditation is the practice of noticing, right? Of just being present with whatever phenomena exists, and accepting those phenomena, without normativity, without labeling them as good or bad, but simply accepting the reality in which we are embedded as that. No, I've never been to Nepal. Good morning, Savannah. How are you? It's really nice to see you. It's been some time. So, now we will say Arati, which means flame or light in Sanskrit. It goes like this. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sada Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Data Jaya Trimutri Avatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Advaita Grave Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnudevananda Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Shyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Ayapa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurupho Namaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Natatra Suyobati Natandrakaratam Nimavidyobati Kutayamagni Twameva Bantamandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Hiyaha Namastitam Namo Namaha Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Bandusha Saka Twameva Vidya Javinam Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Budyat Manava Prakrite Sabhavad Karomi Yad Sakalam Parasmahe Narayana Iti Sarmar Payami Savardamam Pravichayam Vikam Savardambaja Aham Swasarva Papayo Mukshayami Masicha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you. Thank you so much for being here today. Hi, hello. Feel like that's all I do sometimes. I just greet you, right? Because everybody's coming in and out, right? Hundreds of you, even though there's 6 of you right now, right? But hundreds over the course of every morning. Most of you, we just blink at each other and then move on. But I want to greet all of you. I want to acknowledge all of you. Thank you. Thank you for forging this tiny little connection together. I love that you're here, Queen. Thank you, Tabitha. Thank you so much. So, we will conclude our prayers with Kaddish. Quick thought on karma. Sure. Dust specks. Like from the Book of Dust, right? Flecks of consciousness. Flecks of consciousness that pass through the ether. The luminiferous ether. I don't know, maybe you're not referencing Philip Pullman. Marie, I would be happy to talk about karma, but I'm curious what you think about karma. Horton heard a who. All right. To me, the concept of karma is basically about balance, right? Like when I think about the ways that karma was described in the Vedas, in the old Indian texts and Sanskrit, right? It makes me think a lot about the things that I learned in high school physics, right? Like Newton's laws, every action gets an equal and opposite reaction, right? Or that we have the nuclei inside atoms with positive charges that are balanced out by the negative charges of the electrons around them. And of course, like all of these words that we use, right? Positive and negative, like what does that mean? Like there's valence, right? So karma is often talked about theologically with a moralistic bent, right? If you do evil things, evil will come to you. And I'm not so sure that I recognize evil as a valid concept outside of culture and opinion, right? Evil is subjective, just like good is subjective. But I don't think that balance is subjective. I think that balance is a true property of the universe, right? With matter comes antimatter. With light comes dark, right? Existence exists through an act of differentiation, right? There can only be big things because there are small things, right? There can only be human things because there are non-human things, right? If those dualities did not exist, then we would not be able to perceive the reality that they are dividing. So I think that karma, right, as we conceive it, is a recognition that the universe is balanced, right? That that whatever comes will also go, whatever goes will also come, whatever lives will also die, and whatever dies will live again. I try so hard to give and put positive things into the world, and all you get is negative in return. Yeah, I mean, it often feels like that. Life is suffering, right? I guess what I would say is that I try not to live my life in terms of trying to give the most or create the most positive. I think that is a recipe for disaster, right? If you seek the good, you will receive the bad. That's balance. So rather, what I try to do, right, and I'm suffering all the time, right? I'm chronically depressed. But rather than sort of identify with that depression or fight it or resent it, I mean, I do all of those things, but what I try to do is simply recognize it. Like, oh, yes, this is sadness, this is depression, and the reason why this exists is the same reason why happiness exists, and the same reason why joy exists, and they all exist together, and in order to experience one, I must necessarily experience the other. And I can resist the imbalance that I receive, right? I certainly feel like there's more negativity in my life than positivity, right? I certainly feel like I have the subjective experience of suffering more than enjoying. But I think that's bias. I don't think that's true. Or, maybe it is true for some lives. Maybe it's true for my life, but it's not true for all lives. I don't know. So I guess ultimately I do think that balance is real and exists in the world. And whatever comes will go, and whatever goes will come, and whatever lives will die, and whatever dies will live. And that's karma, right? It's not saying that you need to do good deeds so that you can be reincarnated as a king or a saint. I don't buy that. But rather just the universe has an order to it. It has a structure to it. And that structure is even. And all that is on one side is also on the other. And I think there's a kind of beauty to that symmetry. Does that satisfy you? Very. Shall we move on to Kaddish? I'm doing okay, Freedom. How are you? It's nice to see you. So Kaddish is like that, right? Like, Kaddish is a prayer of grief. But if you actually look at the translation of the words in English, it's not a grief prayer, right? There's no mention of grief in the Kaddish. I would love to post more videos, user. Unfortunately, I have a full-time job as a PhD candidate, and I'm writing very tedious papers that I wish I wasn't writing, but I've been working on them, and it takes up all my attention, and so I'm unable to make films. But I will post more videos soon, I promise. So Kaddish is a prayer of grief. It's a prayer that allows us to recognize that we have lost, and embrace the balance of that, right? We've lost because we had. And the only way you can have is by opening up to your capacity for loss. So when we say Kaddish, we grieve together, and we mourn together, and in so doing, even as we recognize that which we no longer have, that which is no longer with us, that which we wish to be but are not, we also recognize those who are around us, right? You all. This tiny, little, strange, intimate community that we have built together. And so we can say a prayer of grief, and in so doing, remind ourselves that we are not alone. And I'm glad of that. So, now we'll say words that my ancestors have been saying for thousands of years in response to death. Vidgadal, Vidgadash, Shema Rabbah. Biama Divrachute, Viamlich Malchute, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayedi kol beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei rabba v'arech li'olam amei almaya. Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itbar v'itramam v'itnaseh v'itadar v'itale v'italal shemei dekudesha baruchu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushvichata v'nechemata diamiran b'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlamar rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oh, say shalom b'mamav, huya say shalom aleinu, v'yalechol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me today. I wish I was drinking some coffee and smoking a joint on my back porch. That sounds nice. Maybe a little cold, but sounds nice. Thank you for being here. Thank you. So now let's have some breakfast. I have some rice in the rice cooker that's ready. I can take off this shawl and blow out the candle. I will be back. Still a little ill. I'll be back in a minute or so, 30 seconds, with some rice and seaweed. It's nice when it's 81 here. Lucky you. Lucky you. Okay, be back real soon. So, Freedom, what do you have on your schedule today? What are you up to? What needs doing? Would you like a seaweed? Ooh, salty, salty.
Hi.
Can I give you one?
Yeah. Look at this cat, too.
Yeah, she likes you. Voting later. Yeah, do you want to vote after our meeting with Marcy?
Sure. I was thinking of voting in the dark,
Seaweed.
but I don't think I have to wait until then. I would go on a voting date.
Okay. What you're doing right now? You're gonna hang out drinking coffee on your porch all morning? All day? Forever and ever?
Oh, that's kind of nice, actually. Smoking a bowl for you, because she's not smoking a bowl herself.
My father just sent me a bunch of text messages
God.
about how he wants me to see an addiction counselor.
Oh my god. But that's because he needed to see an addiction counselor.
Yep.
And you're a different person.
Yep.
What's the big deal?
What's a big deal?
Someone said, oh my god, that's a big deal.
Oh, I said I'm not making videos because I'm working on a thesis and I'm grumpy about it.
Yeah, the thesis is a big deal.
I suppose that's true.
I brought your coat back. I hung it back up.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. This cat is really adorable.
Addicted to what? To marijuana. I'm glad that you're smoking a bowl for me. I appreciate it very much.
I think it's
please enjoy your THC experience. And do so without any ambivalence or regret or guilt. Because I can't. Would you like another one?
Sure.
Good.
Good.
Regret is a painful emotion.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have so much of it.
I think it can be useful, but because
Yeah.
it tells you something about.
If you've made a mistake.
It tells you something about your. You're not gonna like me saying this, but it tells you something about your values.
Yeah.
And like how you want to live your life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you experience it maladaptively sometimes.
Yeah. I haven't actually read the text because I was streaming when I got them, but I saw enough of them to be like,
Yeah.
oh my god. Would you just shut up?
Hey, they just followed you because they're smoking a bowl.
Like that saying, and apples are bad for you? Nobody's ever told me that apples are bad for me. How was your morning?
I think the point is like it's just a plant.
It's just a plant. I mean, yeah, this is the issue. Is like I do think that marijuana can be bad for people.
But it's not inherently bad.
It's not inherently bad. I do think that there are some aspects of the way that I have used it in the past that are bad. Not like deeply existentially threatening, or not so bad that it means that I shouldn't touch it ever again. But I do want to be honest with myself and with other people who are accusing me of things that I don't think are true, because if I'm not honest, then how can I
approach that?
Yeah. Hey Knox, how are you? Long time no see. Good morning. It's nice to see you.
This cat is so cute.
Yeah, she's a good cat.
Hi, baby.
Good morning, Julia. Good morning, love. The earth says hello.
Yeah. Good morning, starshine. The earth says hello.
I'm doing okay. Good morning, Erica. Good morning, Julia. Everybody says good morning. And so I say good morning all the time. You're probably right. I just got in the habit
Yeah,
of
you
saying
say good morning when you greet anyone at any time of day, and it's because of this. It's absolutely because of this.
Yeah. Habits are strong.
Yeah.
They can be hard to break.
Alright, I have to pee.
You have to pee? Could you take the CVV away?
Yeah.
I should learn different languages of good morning. That's not a bad idea. I want to learn Arabic.
Guten Tag. Well, you already know how to say good morning in Arabic.
Oh, yeah. But
Or hello, anyway. Hello is not good morning.
yeah. Okay. Well, I think it is time for me to go. Thank you for the rose, Jope. That's really sweet. I just finished eating rice. Buenos dias. Yes. Jope hoy. Hope joy. Yeah, you came a little late, Erica, but I will be here. Will I be here tomorrow? Maybe. If I wake up early enough, and I'll definitely be here on Thursday. So, yes, I hope you have a really lovely day. And if you like this stream, if you care about what we do here and you want to support it, please check out the link in my bio. You can subscribe on TikTok or through Patreon, or you can leave a one-time tip, or you can just say nice things in the comments. Anything you do in that direction gives me a tremendous amount of reassurance and confidence that this work is valuable and worth doing together. So thank you. And yeah, I will see you all very soon. And I hope you all have lovely days. Farewell.